Hi, everybody.
Hola,
Um,
hola a todos.
so I'm excited to be here today because obviously we have a big issue on our hands right now. And one thing that I was really feeling, go ahead, Manuel, sorry.
Hola a todos. Estoy bien entusiasmada de estar aquí hoy, porque tenemos un gran asunto hoy y una de las cosas que estaba sintiendo,
Um, we really have to be focused on our immunity right now. And not all of us can actually afford hundreds of dollars worth of supplements every month to stay healthy. And there's
es-
a lot of beautiful things we can do that are food-based to keep ourselves healthy and our immunity up.
porque ahorita tenemos que enfocar en nuestra salud y no todos tenemos miles de dólares que podemos aportar para gastar, y tenemos que enfocarnos en nuestra salud y tenemos muchas cosas que podemos utilizar.
So one thing I wanted to start off with first was really doing lung steams, steaming with herbs. So what we're seeing with all kinds of cold viruses, bacterias, all things.
Una de las cosas que quería enfocar es en vapor, con especias y hierbas. Y unas cosas que hemos visto con la gripa y todos los tipos de cosas.
That when we get them in our body, they go through our nasal passages and often our throats, and they will get stuck there. They'll
Y a
stay
veces, y a veces cuando los quedemos, se entran en nuestro cuerpo, se entran descarados en nuestras narices y se quedan en nuestras gargantas y se quedan ahí atoradas.
So steaming is a really good way to clear our nasal passages and our throats, our esophagus, get medicine down in there, and also bring moisture to our lungs.
Así es de que el vapor es una buena manera para abrir nuestra nariz, pasaje nuestras narices y llegar a las nutrias que se van a nuestro esófago y lleguen a nuestros pulmones.
So one thing that we can use, so steaming basically consists of hot water and either fresh herbs or essential oils.
Es de que el vapor consistemente de agua caliente, hierbas y aceites esenciales.
And so today I'm not using essential oils, but I did go out into the garden and I found a couple of eucalyptus trees and I collected fresh eucalyptus. I collected fresh bay or laurel and fresh rosemary.
Así que ahora no voy a usar aceites esenciales, pero sí fui y coleccioné aguas de eucaliptus, fresco bay y odem.
Laurel y romero. And what we'll do with these fresh herbs is we're going to basically strip them down.
Lo que vamos a hacer con estas hierbas, básicamente los vamos a cortar.
Any kind of herb that maybe looks a little funny, make sure there's no bugs, just make sure they're nice and clean.
Y cualquier hierba que sea un poco chistosa, nada más se aseguren que no hay ningún insectos, que se ven bien limpia.
Fresh rosemary.
Fresca rosemary.
And just a little piece, just a little bit. You don't need too much. This is enough for.
Y un poco de pedazo, un poco, no necesita mucho. Eso es lo suficiente.
And then laurel, the bay.
Lauren.
We'll strip it down. We have hot water, and we literally just put the hot water over the herbs.
Y agua caliente, y nada más ponemos el agua caliente sobre las hierbas.
And all of the medicine is what we smell. So the oils and the plants are highly antimicrobial, antibacterial, antiviral. And they're really, some of them are anti-inflammatory, just good for the lungs, the throat, good for clearing.
Y es, el olor es lo que olimos, y las medicinas, las hierbas, son buenos para antibacterial, antiviral, son buenos para limpiar.
And so once we have our herbs in the hot water,
Y cuando tenemos las hierbas en agua caliente,
get our towel and we
agarramos la toalla y luego
breathe.
respiramos.
And you do this for maybe 15 to 20 minutes.
Y hacemos esto por tal vez unos 15 a 20 minutos.
And your skin will look really good, and your lungs will feel really good, and you'll have worked all the beautiful medicine through your sinuses and your respiratory.
Y su piel se va a ver muy bella, se va a sentir muy bien, y luego ha trabajado toda la medicina durante la nariz y su respiratorio.
So there we have it. And what I like to do after I use these, after I steam, is I'll put this back on the stove.
Y ahí lo tiene. Y luego lo que me gusta a mí hacer después de que lo hemos evaporado, lo pongo para atrás en la estufa.
I'll put this back on the stove on low and let it simmer and cleanse my house, cleanse the air in my house. So it'll moisture to the air and send the medicine throughout the house.
No lo pongo lo dejo que se caliente un poquito bajo y no dejo que se evapore para que limpie toda la casa.
And that is steaming. Herbal steaming. So I see a question.
Una pregunta.
Okay, so we have a question from Eve, and Eve is asking, how often should you do it? Can you reuse it?
You can reuse it probably only once. That's why I like to do the steam inhalation and then put it on my stove and use it up. Literally all the smell, that's the medicine. It burns off really quickly, so probably 1 to 2 times.
Se puede usar unas 2 veces, por eso lo pongo en la estufa, para que saque toda la medicina. Y se va muy rápido, por eso nada más lo usamos una o dos veces.
And then you can do it once or twice a day. If you have a chest infection, you can do it twice a day, and it really helps break up the mucus in the lungs. Like I said, bring the medicine through all the places that air, through all of our air passages.
Y si no está enfermo, lo puede usar 1 o 2 veces durante el día. Al día, eso nada más ayuda a que se saque todo.
Also, when for children, sometimes it might be difficult to get them to stay under the towel. That's why I like to put it on the stove. Or you can take the water from the herbs and put it into the bath too.
Y por eso para los niños a veces es un poco difícil que se pongan abajo de la toalla, por eso me gusta ponerlo en la estufa, o si no pueden tomar la medicina y también ponerlo en el baño.
But for especially dry coughs, we want to bring as much moisture into the lungs as we can, and this is a great way to do that.
Especialmente para las toses así secas, queremos tratar todo lo que el vapor durante los pulmones, y esa es una buena manera de hacerlo.
Okay, so we have another question from Amanda. She's asking, do dried herbs not have the same effect?
Amanda está preguntando si las hierbas secas no tienen el mismo efecto.
So dry herbs may. It just depends how fresh they are. So
tal vez sí, pero depende de qué tan frescas son.
It is ideal to have fresh herbs, but if all you have are dry herbs, then use them.
Es ideal tener las hierbas frescas, pero si nada más tienen secas, entonces úsenlas.
And as I'm looking at my table, there's I also have thyme on the table, the herb thyme.
Como estoy viendo en la mesa, también tengo hierba thyme.
This is a very, very good herb for the lungs, for, any kind of lung infection, chest infection. It's really good. So you can use thyme, you can use sage, you can use, I picked the eucalyptus and the bay and the rosemary because you can find them growing everywhere.
Puede usar thyme, no puede usar sage, pero yo escogí estos porque los pueden encontrar en cualquier lugar vecino.
Okay, now we have another question from Eve. She says, what about essential oils? Does that work the same?
They do. Everything that we're smelling with the fresh plant is the essential oil. So you can use essential oils, and just a few drops will do. But I also wanted to extend out. There's in Sonoma County, there's so many eucalyptus trees, and bay, there's so much rosemary, and things are becoming difficult to come by at the store, or things are expensive, people aren't working. So I wanted to offer the alternative of going and gleaning through town. And
Me querían preguntar que si los aceites esenciales es lo mismo, pero dicen que sí, pero como ahorita en el condado de Sonoma hay mucho eucalipto y por eso es más fácil para usarlo, para también ahorrar poco dinero.
All right, another question coming in. Can you tell us the ingredient list again before you go? And I can answer that one. I'll paste it into the chat window here, and you can also find it in the Facebook event page if you found us that way. But if I paste it in the chat window, you'll need to make sure that you copy and paste it out somewhere else. So I'll also paste the link to the post on Facebook.
Los ingredientes, puede dar los ingredientes otra vez. Amber dice que sí, pero que los voy a pagar en el chat y pueden ustedes allí ponerlos, verlos.
The one thing I did not do was put the list of and give you guys the list of ingredients for the steams. I just threw that one in today because I thought I'd forgotten how amazing chest steaming is, or respiratory steaming is. So let me know if you need the ingredients for this.
Lo único que no hice es poner los ingredientes para el vapor, porque pero ahora pensé que tan bueno es para el vapor hoy, así es que si necesitan saber, por favor, déjame saber.
Okay. Any more questions around steaming?
Unas más preguntas por el vapor.
Okay, I'm going to move on to our next creation for the day.
Nuestra siguiente creación del día.
So I wanted to do just a really simple tea that we can use fresh ingredients from the store that are easy to find, things that I have seen that have not run out.
Quiero hacer un té muy simple que podemos usar ingredientes frescos, cosas que no he visto en la tienda que no sean
so our tea is it's a really good respiratory tea, and we'll be able to add a couple different herbs that are easy to get that will break a fever, or that are really good for, in particular, respiratory infections.
El té es muy bueno para infecciones respiratorias y también para unas fiebres.
So we have just our simple orange. Orange peel has been used in Chinese medicine for a very long time, in particular for helping clear mucus out of the body. And so, literally what we're going to do is I washed these oranges very well.
Tenemos una naranja y la piel de naranja se ha usado en las medicinas de China por muchos años, y es muy bueno para aclarar el moco.
And we're just going to take the orange peel from the fruit.
Nada más llevar la piel de la naranja.
Just peel it and cut it into small chunks.
Y los cortamos en pequeños pedazos.
And remember, we're working food as medicine, so there's no right way to chop There's no right amount in particular. We're just really using food to support our immunity.
Y recuerden que estamos usando la comida para apoyar para nuestra salud, y así de que no hay una manera mal o correcta para cortar, nada más estamos usando la comida para nuestra salud.
So we have our orange peel, and then we have ginger, which is a very antimicrobial, antibacterial, potentially antiviral food and medicine.
Y tenemos jengibre, que es una medicina para antimicrobio, antiviral.
And when we look at different illnesses, sometimes they have different attributes. So, when we usually have a flu or a cold, our body takes on an attribute like coldness. Ginger is very warming and helps move things. So that's why ginger is one of our favorites for cold time, for cold and flu season. It's warming, but not overly warming. It has all these beautiful antimicrobial properties, and it's easy to come by. So we're just gonna take, like a nice little size piece.
Y vamos, recuerden que cada enfermedad tiene diferentes propiedades, y derive, el cuerpo toma lo que la enfermedad es, así es de que el jengibre ayuda a calentar el cuerpo, especialmente con gripe o el catarro. Y vamos a comer un pedazo.
Some people like to peel their ginger, but I don't. I just wash it really well.
Mucha gente le gusta quitar la piel al jengibre, pero yo no me la lavo muy bien.
And someone's asking if you clean the pesticides off. How do you clean the pesticides off if you can't get organic?
Y alguien se está preguntando cómo se limpian los pesticidas si no puede agarrar algo orgánico.
I know right now the CDC and World Health Organization are recommending that we use a solution of warm soap and water.
Ahorita el CDC está recomendando que nos usamos una solución de agua caliente y jabón.
So then we have cinnamon.
Y luego tenemos canela.
2 cinnamon sticks.
2 palos de canela.
And I got a few hibiscus flowers.
Y yo agarré unas flores de.
They are very high in flavonoids, similar to vitamin C, so they do help build immunity or support immunity. So we're gonna throw a little bit of that in there.
Vitamina C y apoyan la inmunidad. Vamos a tirar algunos allá adentro.
Hibiscus is also a cooling plant, so it helps the body release heat. So if there's, a mild fever or something like that, this is also very helpful. And the ginger will help balance that out so you don't get too cold, but this will help release heat from the body.
La planta ayuda a sacar lo caliente del cuerpo, y el jengibre también ayuda.
So if you have a more intense infection, you can throw a few sprigs of thyme.
Y si tiene alguna infección muy sensitiva, entonces puede poner un poquito de tomillo.
Also, sage. Sage is an amazing herb for breaking fevers.
Y también saliva, porque es una planta muy maravillosa para romper la fiebre.
It is quite bitter when put into tea.
Y está un poco agria cuando se pone en el té.
So if you're giving it to children, maybe, with 1 cup, do half tea, half water.
Y si se lo va a dar a un niño, a lo mejor nada más haga una taza, una mitad de una taza y la otra mitad de agua.
There we have it. Our beautiful tea. And you'll put it in, just a stock pot size and fill it with water, and we'll do a low simmer for 20 to 30 minutes.
Y luego lo pone ahí con agua y lo pone bajo, caliente, por 30 a 20 minutos.
Was that really yummy tea?
Es un té bien delicioso.
And then eat the orange.
Y luego cómase la naranja.
Any questions?
¿Algunas preguntas?
That one was straightforward. So you never want to boil a tea. You always want it to be a low simmer for an extended amount of time. So if you boil, it could damage all the, the best constituents of the herbs in the, of the herbs. So you want to just do a low simmer for 20 to 30 minutes.
Es que no tiene que calentar muy caliente el té, lo que tiene que hacer tibio por unos 20-30 minutos, porque si no puede dañar todo lo bueno de las plantas.
And Eve is asking, can you keep that for a while?
Y quiere saber si puede mantenerse por un tiempo.
Ginger ferments very easily, so it's good, to put it in the refrigerator for maybe 1 to 2 days.
Jengibre se fermenta muy fácilmente, así es que es bueno ponerlo refrigerado por 1, 2, 3 días.
And I also recommend adding honey because honey is very soothing, very nourishing. It's a tonic food, so it helps nourish and build, it feeds the body in a very deep way. So honey is always really good.
Y también recomiendo ponerle miel, porque miel es bueno para la garganta y es una comida que es bien tónica y ayuda al cuerpo.
Sorry, any kind of honey?
In particular, I love Manuka honey, but it's very expensive. So if you can get Manuka, that's great. Local honey is the best, is also very, very good. And, just get what you can.
Cualquier tipo de miel. A mí me gusta mucho la miel Manuka, si no miel local, o agarre lo que pueda.
And what is Manuka honey?
So Manuka honey it's from New Zealand, from a plant that just fell down. So anyway, Manuka honey, it's a very highly antimicrobial, antibacterial, antiviral honey. It's very, very powerful.
Es una miel muy poderosa, es bien antimicrobia, antibacterial, es de New Zealand.
And in particular, because of the pollen from these plants that the bees feed on.
En particular por el polen que de las plantas que las abejas comen.
Good. Okay, since we're talking honey, I want to move on to making a medicinal honey.
Estamos hablando de la miel. Voy a empezar con usar miel para medicina.
So this is really simple.
Es bien simple.
Oh, I think I did see, can we find it here? Yes, you can get Manuka honey very easily. I've seen it at Whole Foods and different places like that.
La Manuka miel se puede encontrar en Whole Foods y diferentes lugares.
So I wanted to make a thyme honey, a respiratory honey. Like I said, thyme is one of our best herbs for respiratory infections and helping clear the infection out of the lungs. So I literally just got 1 bunch of thyme.
Quería hacer miel con tomillo, porque como he dicho, el tomillo es bueno para el sistema respiratorio y para las infecciones. Le agarré nada más un poco.
We're just going to chop it really fine.
Nos vamos a picar muy bien.
And I went through the thyme and I made sure that everything looked nice. There weren't any dead leaves and things like that.
por el tomillo para ver que todo se va muy bien, para ver que no había ninguna hojas muertas o cosas así.
You know, I do have oregano right here, so I'm going to put some oregano in the honey.
Y
Oregano
también,
is another really powerful remedy and food for colds, flus.
y también tiene un poco de orégano, así que le voy a poner orégano. Orégano es una buena medicina para las gripas y las tos.
All these things can be used preventatively as well, especially right now. A lot of the information that I as an herbalist have been receiving has been to constantly be drinking warm water, cleansing the nasal passages, not just washing our hands, but also flushing the nasal passages and the throat. So, you know, steaming daily would be a great thing to do. Drinking tea throughout the day, that warmer water throughout the day is a very good thing for us to be doing. The reason why is because we're flushing these bacteria or the viruses or whatever we may have picked up down into our stomachs, where they're destroyed by our digestive enzymes.
Y ahorita lo que estoy recomendando es de que tomen bastante agua, no nada más lavándose las manos, porque cuando estamos tomando agua estamos manteniendo este lugar así, nuestra garganta y todo, y a cualquier cosa, microbios que hemos agarrado, entonces lo que estamos haciendo, lo estamos llevando al estómago y ahí es donde se van.
So these things may not prevent us from getting sick, but they are tools that we can use to help keep us from getting sick. Also, these herbs, and once we get into making fire cider and different things like that, you know, they help keep immunity and they help create an internal environment that things don't want to live, that don't want to be in.
Así es que esas cosas no nos mantienen para que no nos enfermemos, pero son ramitas que nos ayudan a mantener salud. Y cuando empieza a ayudar con la sida de fuego, nos va a ayudar.
Abby, we have a question. How much of the oregano?
You know, I would do just a bunch and a bunch. We can literally, if you have a small jar, fill it all the way to the top with herbs.
¿Cuánto de orégano? Es una mano, un puño y un puño. Si tiene un pomo así, lo puede llenar hasta arriba.
So for myself right now, I have never made sage honey, but like I said, sage is an amazing way to break a fever. And so I'm gonna try something new today and do thyme, oregano, sage honey. You can also use, oh, go ahead, Manuel.
Yo nunca había hecho miel de saliva, pero ahora voy a utilizarlo.
We can also make garlic honey, believe it or not. So garlic is a very powerful medicine that has an affinity for the lungs. So, you know, a lot of that medicine goes to the lungs and helps cleanse and clear the lungs of any kind of pathogen.
También podemos hacer miel de ajo, y el ajo es bueno para los pulmones, ayuda a los pulmones y quita cualquier microbio que están en los pulmones.
So if you wanted to, yeah, you could use garlic. You could add orange peel to this if you really wanted to. Cinnamon. I forgot to talk about the benefits of cinnamon, but if you've ever cooked it down or used the powder, it gets very slimy.
Se puede usar, puede arreglar la piel de naranja, y se me olvidó hablar de la canela. Si lo cose la canela se pone muy jugoso.
That we call mucilage. It's very, very good for bringing moisture into the body and helping move maybe stuck things. So it can support in clearing out phlegm and mucus from the body.
Y eso lo usamos para quitar el moco y la flama del cuerpo.
And that slime, that mucilage from the cinnamon is very soothing, and like I said, just helps to keep the body moist. And
Y eso de la canela ayuda, alivia mucho y ayuda para mantener el cuerpo mojado.
So the one thing I did do with these herbs is I left them out for, you can either leave them out overnight or for a full day. What that's called is wilting, and it allows for some of the water to leave the plant so that when we add the honey, there's low water content.
Una cosa que hice es, lo deja durante la noche, durante el día, para que se le quite toda el agua, y antes de agregar la miel para que no tenga tanta agua.
It's an important thing to do with the honey. So if you do use fresh herbs, and you can also use dry herbs, but if you do use fresh herbs, like I said, leave them out overnight or for the day, at least 6 to 8 hours.
Como dije, si usan hierbas frescas, es bueno dejarlos ahí sobre la noche o al menos unas 6-8 horas.
So I just filled the cup about, you want to fill it enough to leave space for the honey to cover the herbs.
Así es que llene la taza, ya sabes, quiere dejar espacio para poder que la miel cubra las hierbas.
And it is nice to get these herbs as small as possible. And when we do use this as medicine, you'll take it with the herbs. You can just put it straight into warm water, into your tea.
Y es bueno de hacer las hierbas lo más pequeño posible, pues cuando se toma como medicina, lo usa, lo toma con agua caliente y en su té.
And honey is a good way to get medicine into the children.
Y la miel es una buena manera para darle la medicina a los niños.
And the tea as well.
El té también.
And we're literally just going to pour and coat and stir and make sure that all the herbs are covered completely.
Y vamos a llenar para asegurar que todas las hierbas están cubiertas completamente.
Can you see that all right? Smells so good.
Okay, we have a question. Can you eat the ingredients like that you used for making the honey?
Yes.
Una pregunta, ¿se puede comer uno de los ingredientes? Lo que está usando para la miel. Sí.
And this can become the base for a tea.
Y eso se puede hacer la base para té.
And so literally now we just have this beautiful herbal honey. And
tenemos bello miel con hierba.
And, usually we want these things to sit for a while, for at least a month. But in about a week, you can start tasting it and, eating off of it if you need it.
Usualmente queremos que esto se siente por un tiempo, como un mes, pero dentro de una semana lo puede estar usando y probándolo.
And honey is a very powerful preservative, so whatever you put in there will stay for years.
Y la miel es muy poderosa para preservar, así es de que lo que ponga allá adentro se va a quedar por años.
And that's so beautiful.
Ahí está.
And then we just put our lid on it and we're good to go.
Y nada más lo tapamos y estamos listos.
If you really wanted to get it going because you want to use it faster, you can basically boil a pot of water.
Y si lo quiere usar más pronto, básicamente puede hervir un agua.
Set it aside and let it rest, let it cool down for maybe 10 minutes.
Y deja que se calme por unos 10 minutos.
and then you'll put the jar in there. You don't want to boil honey because it can make it go rancid. It's not good to heat honey up too much, but you can let that jar sit in there for, until the water cools.
Lo pone como allá adentro, no quiere hervir la miel porque la hace rancida. Así que no deja, después que se baje de temperatura del agua, entonces lo puede poner como allá adentro.
Abi, how do you keep it from crystallizing?
So I've heard different things about crystallization in honey, and they say to use wooden spoons.
¿Cómo se mantiene para que no sea cristal la miel? He escuchado diferentes cosas. Lo que dicen que use uno para que no se cristala la miel es usar una cuchara de madera.
I did not do that. I used a metal knife to mix. But there's something, I think, when I've made herbal honeys, there's something about those herbs, they've never crystallized on me. They've always, there's something maybe about a little bit of the water. There's still a tiny bit of water in there.
Yo usé un cuchillo de metal, pero yo cuando he hecho la miel antes, no se ha cristalizado. A veces a lo mejor la hierba tiene un poquito de agua ahí todavía.
Any more questions about honey? Ingredients, what you could use in your honeys, anything?
¿Tienen más preguntas sobre la miel, ingredientes, sobre qué no puede usar? Cualquier cosa.
I have a question. Can you put flowers in there, like dried flowers, like the hibiscus that you had earlier?
Yes. So I've done that before. I've made I've made rose honey. So you can use rose petals. It's incredible. The hibiscus flowers. You can use garlic. You can use anything.
Yo tengo una pregunta. ¿Se puede usar flores ahí en la miel? Sí, yo he usado se puede usar cualquier cosa. Puede usar ajo, cualquiera.
You could use chamomile, mint, any kind of, like roots, like bare root, osha, elecampane, just different, anything you want, you can put into honey.
Cualquiera puede usar diferentes cosas como cualquier cosa que uno puede usar, lo puede utilizar en la miel, raíces.
With the hibiscus flowers, I recommend either breaking them up or somehow powdering them a little bit just to open them up because they're so dry.
Con las flores de hibiscus, recomiendo nada más hacerlas pedacitos, cualquier cosa que lo puede utilizar para romperlas.
So we have one more thing we're going to make today. Together.
Una cosa más que vamos a hacer juntos.
And it's called fire cider.
Y se llama sidra de fuego.
And it is a medicinal vinegar.
Y es vinagre medicinal.
That's very hot and spicy.
Está bien caliente y bien espeso.
How I use it is I will make it before cold and flu season. And if you can remember to take, a little tablespoon every day, it really helps, again, to, help us it just helps us stay healthy. And with all the ingredients that we'll put in there, it really does create an environment that nothing wants to live in.
Y yo lo hago antes de que empiece el tiempo de la gripe y catarro y con todos los ingredientes que voy a poner adentro, nada quiere vivir ahí adentro.
So I'm going to start with lemons and the lemon peel. And often with citrus peel, we have that same action of just antimicrobial. It is full of vitamins and minerals. We have our lemons, our C's, our flavonoids, all those good things.
Y voy a empezar con limones y la piel tiene muchos minerales antimicrobio.
So I just have one large lemon, And we're going to start layering all of our foods, but our medicines into this jar.
Voy a poner todas nuestras medicinas en este pomo.
And again, right now, and if you are getting things that are not organic, to just, wash with warm water and soap.
Y otra vez está agarrando cosas que no son orgánicas, vamos a lavarlas con agua caliente y jabón.
So I like to slice these very thin. Oh, let's see if you can see that. As thin as you can get them.
Y me gusta cortarlas lo más
And then I'm
que
going to
pueda.
start layering. In the jar.
Los pongo en el pomo.
And, all of our ingredients, I couldn't find all my peppers that I usually do, but we have jalapenos.
Todos los ingredientes, no pueden encontrar todos los ingredientes que uso, pero tenemos jalapeños.
Serrano. Ginger. Turmeric.
Timio.
Horseradish. This is a radish, a black radish.
Un rábano negro.
Garlic.
Ajo.
Onion.
Cebolla.
More thyme and radishes. So everything we have is very hot and spicy, and some of our most antimicrobial foods.
Todo lo que tenemos está bien caliente y con mucha especie, y la comida que tenemos es muy antimicrobial.
And to save time, I chopped a lot of it. You can use a food grater, like a grater to make it really fine. But if you do end up chopping it, you want to get it. Sorry about the sun.
Y para ahorrar tiempo, ya lo piqué antes. Lo quiere picar así bien chiquito.
So these are the radishes.
Son los rábanos.
And I'm just going to go ahead and put them in the jar.
Los voy a poner en el pomo.
And it's good to, to pack it down.
Y es bueno de empacarlo.
Not too much, but just make sure that we kind of move a little bit of the air out of there.
No mucho, nada más para asegurar que le sacamos un poco del aire.
So here we have horseradish.
Y tenemos rábano picante.
And ginger. So we're going to put the horseradish and the ginger.
Lo vamos a poner.
And there should be the recipe, the general recipe. It's like a half cup of each of these.
Y la receta en general es como una media taza de cada uno de estos.
In a quartz jar. And then our onions.
Cebolla.
See, already I'm running out of space.
Eso está acabando.
And we want to be able to leave just, a little bit of space on the top so we make sure everything is covered.
Y podemos dejar un poco de espacio arriba para asegurar que todo está cubierto.
And we're going to add a little more oregano and thyme.
Luego, vamos a agregar un poquito más de orégano y tomillo.
And all we need to put in here are our chiles and our garlic.
Y nada más lo que nos falta es el chile y el ajo.
And for a quart jar, I used a clove of garlic.
Y por un cuarto de pomo uso nada más un pedazo de ajo.
And again, we want to get it as small. For this, it's good to get everything as small as possible. And some people use a grater to get things very fine.
Queremos picarlo más pequeño poquito.
And we're using apple cider vinegar.
Estamos usando vinagre de manzana.
And it's very enzymatic, so it's alive and it literally starts breaking down the foods that we put in.
Está vivo y inmediatamente empieza a romper las comidas que estamos poniendo allá adentro.
I'm making a mess. Okay. And we'll do our peppers. Ooh, I like to use the hottest peppers that I can find.
A mí me gusta utilizar los chiles más calientes que pueden comprar.
And it's so delicious. You can use it any way that you would use a culinary vinegar, on rice, on your meats, on anything.
Lo puede utilizar en cualquier cosa que uno está cociendo.
It creates such a beautiful flavor.
Crea un sabor muy delicioso, bello.
Abby, we have a question while you're chopping. Do you need to have the mother of the apple cider vinegar?
Yes, you want apple cider vinegar with mother.
Debe ser la madre del vinagre de manzana sidral. Sí.
It's preferable. So one of the old ways of making fire cider is to make it in the fall before winter comes. And the old way was to do all this and then bury it in the ground for 1 month.
Sí, la manera antigua de hacerlo es de hacerlo un mes antes de que llegue la temporada. Y en la manera antigua que hacíamos es lo enterrábamos en la tierra por un mes.
We don't have that kind of time.
No
like, this is just a beautiful food that we can start using within, a week's time, 10 days. If you really wanted to do this fast, you could blend it, put all of this in a blender, and then strain it.
Y ahorita no tenemos ese tiempo, así es que si lo quiere usar, lo puede utilizar en 10 días. Si lo quiere, lo puede poner en una licuadora y luego después dar todos los pedazos.
So putting it in a blender and maybe letting it sit for a couple of days and then straining it.
Luego ponerlo en la licuadora y dejarlo sentar por unos días y luego después
So this is oh goodness, the sun is so bright, but this is the apple cider vinegar that I use, but
este es el vinagre que yo uso de manzana.
So we literally have put all of our ingredients into the jar. Sorry, the sun is.
Todos los ingredientes en el pomo.
That didn't help. So we put all of our ingredients into the jar.
Tenemos todos los ingredientes en el pomo.
And we're going to just cover.
Lo vamos a cubrir.
Some people like to put orange peel again or cinnamon, different things. You can get creative with your flavors. This is food.
Algunas personas les gusta poner canela o piel de naranja. Puede ser creativo con cualquier cosa que es comida.
It's food as well as medicine. So what I have done is I put way too much in here. So I'm probably, after we're done here, going to split this into 2. Or put it into a bigger jar so that I can make sure that everything is covered properly.
Lo que yo he hecho es yo puse demasiado en después de que acabemos aquí lo voy a poner un poco más grande para que todo se cubra.
What I do have is some fire cider that I made about 2 weeks ago.
Lo que sí tengo es un sidra de fuego que hice hace 2 semanas.
And you can see how the colors have changed.
Puede ver cómo se han cambiado los colores.
And smells so good. And now I can literally start just, you know, you can strain all of it or pour off of it and just, you know, take a tablespoon every day to just help.
Y nada más, como ustedes, puede tomar una cuchara cada día para poder ayudarle.
And you can see here that there's, you know, space on the top. You know, you want the liquid above the vegetable, everything in there. You want to cover all the.
Y aquí que está cubriendo todo, quiere los vegetales, quiere cubrir todo.
And then, yes, you can use it on your food. You can mix it with honey and water and take a shot of it every day, at least a tablespoon.
Lo puede utilizar en su comida, puede tomarlo con miel, cada día, al menos una cuchara.
And it's just a beautiful remedy for keeping, you know, colds and flus away.
Y es una remedia muy bella para que no le pegue la gripa o la copa.
So right now, what we're trying to do is really just use our food as medicine and do everything that we can to support our immune systems, to support our body's ability to stay healthy and fight things off. So if we do catch something, maybe it won't be so harsh.
Y porque queremos estar ahorita utilizando la comida como medicina y para ayudar nuestra salud y también si nos pega algo para que no nos pegue tan fuerte.
And we have a question. Eve is asking, can you strain it and reuse the ingredients?
I've never done that before. Usually when I strain and press it, I'll start again. The apple cider vinegar is so strong that it really does pull and, you know, pull all the goodness out of everything that's in there.
Y la pregunta era de que después que se cola, entonces si podemos utilizar los ingredientes otra vez. No, nunca lo he usado, los he reusado porque el vinagre está tan fuerte que sí le saca todos los ingredientes.
But if you wanted to have, say, your jar and you're just pouring off of it, you can refill it.
Pero si quiere tener nada más ahí, sí, su pomo y si lo está sacando de ahí, lo puede rellenar.
But to really keep, you know, to have a strong, powerful batch of medicine, then I recommend just doing fresh batches.
Pero para tener una bacha así muy fuerte, así de medicina, yo recomiendo hacerlo fresco de nuevo.
Oh, yes.
So if there are any last questions, now is your chance to ask them, but I'm not going to stay on much longer because we are at time. And so in the meantime, it would be just wonderful if you could all help me thank Abi by turning on your mics or putting an appreciation in the chat box. That was just so cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Stay healthy out there, and I'm sending you and all of your families love. And I don't know if somehow if you need to reach out to me, maybe we can put that information somewhere if you have any questions or.
Yes, I will follow up. I don't know how everyone heard about it, but I'll follow up in the places that I've been posting. And I'll share a copy of the video too. So if you want to share it with people, Abi, or if anyone watching today wants to recommend it, we'll be posting it for other people to watch.
Thank you. I hope this helped and add some good tools to your immunity arsenal.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abi.
Thank you, Abi.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, Manuel.
Thank you, Manny.
Manuel.